Thanks for staying with us. So with President Bola Tinubu's second anniversary just 4 days away, we are evaluating his ministers' performance. Let's discuss their impact on Nigerians so far. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the standout ministers and those who haven't met expectations. Share your views and reasons with us. You can join the conversation and call us on 02016 352013 or 0902416 3440. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect using the hashtag YourViewTVC. A few days to May 29, and we now have to start rating the performance of the ministers and the ministries as how, or as regards to how it affects us as Nigerians. So sometimes we hear on paper that this ministry is doing this. But now we're going to be talking about it, how it trickles down to the common man. What sort of benefits have we derived from the different ministries? And that's what we're going to be talking about. And I want us to start with maybe the power sector, because we've had so many issues when it comes to electricity in Nigeria. I remember last year we had about 12 grid collapses. A few months, this one will collapse. Before you know, they fix it. The next time again, you hear that there's a collapse. But so far this year, we haven't had a grid collapse. We have this year. Yep. I haven't experienced.
They are not saying it. Does not mean it's not collapsing.
But I think it was even said. I think we've had
okay, but that's just I think once.
Once you don't have lights in your house, grid don't collapse.
No, of course not, of course not. But let's start with the power sector. Adelabu Adebayo, who's been in charge of it. How do you rate his performance so far before he came in, and what you're seeing now that he's in charge of that ministry? Who's ready to start based on your own experience as a Nigerian and how electricity has affected your house?
I don't even want to just do based on how electricity has affected me, because I would be extremely my comments would be a bit harsh, because before this administration, my residential area was under a particular, they didn't call it band A, they call it privilege units, where we pay more and we had more power. And then he came into power and created something called,
democratized it.
He now said it's band A, band B, and all of them now, we now have different bands. And the impact on my community was we now have less power and we are paying more money. So from my personal perspective, I feel like what is done hasn't worked. However, it opened up for other communities that didn't need to organize themselves to get that edge, to simply pay more and get paid more. Get more power in exchange for what they are being paid. But overall, from other people's feedback, is that the power minister has inherited a very, very dilapidated system. And it would require a lot of effort from him for him to have significant progress within 2 years. A lot. I think he tried. I believe there's room for improvement. I feel like we needed a more maybe more agile, like the David Umahi style. They said they vandalized this place. He's there. They said they vandalized this place, and then we see video. It makes us feel that he's working. Maybe his style, which is I've got an opportunity to interview. We've interviewed him once. We've interviewed a few people in the power industry. His style is more of let's dig deep and restructure the real problem. But Nigerians want to see that you are working, sir. We also feel that some of the excuses and challenges, let me not call it excuses, challenges that you are alluding to be the problem why we still have power issues are the same challenges we had before you got in there. So we are expecting that, you know the problem, you are already there, we shouldn't be discussing how you are going to pay, that you are struggling to pay gas bills, because we don't, that's one of the problem. We're not paying enough. There are agencies that are owing money, military is fighting. There are too many issues under that ministry, sir. You will not sleep because you are a minister. You cannot be sleeping. At all. We are not sleeping inside heat. You cannot sleep. Minister, you need to be going from everywhere. You have to be up and doing it. It's not about your intention, sir. It's about the results we get. And for me, there's room for improvement.
Okay. So in comparison, if we're talking about residential, so for me, to be fair,
it got better.
It got a lot better. It got 80% better.
Whoa.
Yes. Wow. Because we were under an arrangement as well in my estate where we paid more to get more power, but it never happened. I mean, people that know my estate know that it seemed like they had sort of put us aside to punish us for whatever reason. But when he came in, and also with the introduction of the bands A, B, C, and whatever, even though it has gotten more expensive, we get power much more often. And when it goes off, you know, for a while, it will come back on nearly immediately. And when it goes off for a long time, it's not like it used to be, where it would just be my estate, but it's something that is widespread. Like, you know, everyone is yes, a grid collapse, or something has fallen, and you know, I've just seen improvement in that regard. But of course, nationwide, we're hearing everywhere else how nothing seemed to have really improved anywhere. And so I think there's something about, you know, the issues with Nigeria. On one side is the competence of the minister himself. Yeah. And based on that, from what I've seen so far, I would say that he seemed like a competent person. He's a competent minister. But I also know this particular ministry, the issues on ground are so deep-seated. The dilapidated infrastructure, the years and years of, you know, the obsolete facilities, the debt, the issues between distributors, and, you know, all those issues. I believe that any other person who comes in there would still face the same issues. What that ministry really does need is like full 100% federal government support, one, and then a review of how to go about this power sector. If we're going to just face alternative power generation, one, then we'll look for how we'll find maybe states start working on their own ways of power generation. I just think that what we have on ground, it's so obsolete, it's not big enough to accommodate the whole of Nigeria, and the issues are just too many. Well, it will need like Jesus to come and to solve it completely. So I think that the minister on his own, given my personal experience, as I said before, I think he's doing a lot better than previous ministers. But I also think that the issues are just too many for him. Too many to be sorted out the way that we're trying to sort it out now. We just have to look for different ways to look at it. Alternative power supply, regional power plants, you know, those sort of things, rural electrification, you know, power plants everywhere, smaller power plants in different areas. I think that that's the best way to handle this.
Even the governors supplying their own power.
Yes. So I think, I agree with Mariam on a lot of things she said. It's a very complicated ministry, and of course he needs a lot of goodwill to be able to make sure that that ministry works well. So I'm going to come from the business point of view. So far, since since he came into power, we have spent more on electricity. Because so we are on this, like the bands, the way he did the band, which was a very good, I think it was a good strategy to get the people that paid and all of that. So, but we got there was light. In fact, at some point I was bandless, because I'll be in band A, and then tomorrow, I think I'll be moved to band C. Then another week, I'll be in band Z. So at the end of the day, you know, we're spending more, and I was spending more on diesel as well. Just to make sure that I have electricity to make sure that my production goes on. So now, because of this effect, I have increased my price in my goods. Of course. It has become more expensive. Of course, my customers have filtered, because some will be able to afford, some will not be able to afford. So it has really impacted my business negatively to a large extent.
Work is not yet to lament.
So electricity.
Then is it there's still the vandalization of the poles and everything. You know, some people just come carry the wires away. You just come, you won't have light, and then by the time you come, you see that
they have stolen something.
Yes. So I think they need to do general maintenance on things like that. If it's to bury the cables underground so that people will not be able to reach it. I think he needs more innovations and more, strategies, and people come together and put heads together to make that sector a successful one.
For that electricity sector, I feel that is highly sabotaged because there are people who are barons in the sale of generators. They have made millions, billions, supplying Nigeria generators. They are like a cabal. So if you're going to make sure that everybody has electricity, that means you are knocking them out of business, and they are heavy in this importation. I feel like we are sabotaging ourselves. Yes, even Nigerians are the ones that are doing the business. So we are sabotaging ourselves so that it seems like we have an epileptic power supply so that we can buy generators. You know, you go to places and you don't hear a sound of generator for the duration that you are there. And Nigeria has the capacity to do that. That's on one hand. And I also feel like maybe privatization may just be the way to go, like total privatization, in the sense that the government can always come in when it comes to subsidizing for some specific industries. Let's take the universities, for instance. Many of them have been out of power because they could no longer pay the huge increment in electricity tariff. The hospitals, those are places where government can come in and subsidize. Yes. Now, for the general people, if they open it, it will be painful initially. We will have to pay more initially, but then market forces. See what is happening with our field right now, where Dangote is refining, people are still bringing in, and everybody's fighting to reduce the prices. So if we do electricity like that, and we are paying our, what's it called? You pay as you go, not that they are giving us estimated billing. In fact, my mom called me a few days ago that they sent it. She has been on prepaid meter for a very long time. They now sent a bill for her to come and pay. And she was wondering how. I've been using and paying as I go. So where is this bill coming from? So those are some of the issues that I feel we're not really helping ourselves. We find a way to sabotage the government, then we come behind and cry that government is not working. We all need to work together in this. Let's take a short break now. When we come back, we'll go into another ministry. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.